What's going on, everybody? Today we're doing a Wednesday preview. We are going to talk about Swaghino first. The commission wants to know is he the best owner in the LOC? And let's take a look. Let's see how his team looks and see what his history has been for so far. I believe he's 18-8 all time. Yeah, that's 15th best all time. But win percentage, he's first overall. I mean, that's definitely good. He's been here for 2 seasons. He's 3-2 in the playoffs. He has his two playoff appearances. He has 3 trophies and the one divisional title. I say that's pretty damn good. I know I usually give him a hard time about he plays international vision and he usually gets those easy wins. But honestly, when we look at his record, he's finished fourth place last year. 2 years ago, he finished second place. He didn't get the win, but he still made the still made the playoffs both times. So I think he's definitely doing pretty good there. So looking at his divisional opponents, he plays the Fighting Geese. He's 1-3 against Fighting Geese. He is 2-0 against Ellie Island, former owner Ellie Island. He's 0-0. He hasn't had to play the game against Optimus Prime. And too good for name. He's 2-1 against. He also plays Optica Spartans, who's also in his division. He's 0-3. So right there, I mean, he's 1-6 against Geese and Spartans. He hasn't played Prime yet, and he's 2-1 against too good for a name. So what's 4-7? So 4-7 plus the 2 wins against Ellie Island. He's 6-7 against his actual division. And to me, the international division is one of those divisions that are, I don't say they're weaker than somebody like the red and white division, but they're definitely not on par. I believe they scored the last year when I took a look, they scored like 200 less points for combined than the American division. So they're definitely a lower scoring division, but it's still a good division. He's 0-1 against me. He's 1-0 against Templars, the Age Crew. He hasn't played BC Lions yet, and he's at actually 2-1 against the commission. I was actually surprised to see. Switching over to his keepers, you have Lamar Jackson. I mean, he could be anywhere from QB1 of the league to QB5. I don't, unless he gets injured, then he'll definitely be lower. He has James Robinson, who I'm not sold on. I mean, I think if they didn't draft anybody over there for Jacksonville, I think he would definitely be in the top 5 running backs there. But I think he definitely gets hurt this year. Well, his value gets hurt. And then he has, 2 stud wide receivers, just DeAndre Hopkins and Tyreek Hill. I mean, they could be 1 and 2 depending on if Rodgers leaves the Packers. I mean, Deontay Adams can definitely drop down there. They can definitely take the 1 and 2 spot. Hunter Henry, I mean, Geno Smith did sign there, so I think that hurts his value. I think he's a middle of the road tight end. And Isaiah Simons, I mean, he definitely picked up his second half of his rookie season. I think that's definitely a good pickup there for him. For them, he's definitely going to have a good year, I believe, in the second year. Switching over to his picks, I mean, again, he's another player. He doesn't really make a lot of trades. He's really good at drafting. I mean, he doesn't have a 5th or a 7th, but he does have his first, he does have his second, and his third and his fourth. I mean, that's definitely good for somebody who finished 4th last year. Didn't make any trades. He didn't blow up his team to get those players to get the win. Very consistent owner, so he definitely has props there from me. He has all of his middle round picks, all 10 of them. And then, as you can see, he has 2 extra picks in the last round, which you don't want to do. But the rest of his picks, I mean, it'll be A-OK. The one thing that he should do, though, is check the NFL.com keepers and make sure the commission updates his keepers are correct. Because I believe when I looked earlier, it was I believe he had, let's take a Todd Gurley as a keeper. So we do need to verify his keepers there on NFL.com and make sure they are correct. And with that said, everybody should make sure their keepers are correct in NFL.com. Go to your team, scroll all the way to your bench. You'll be able to see your 5 keepers, and then scroll all the way to your defense. You should be able to see your IDP keeper right there. And if you're in Dynasty, make sure all your keepers are set there because that's a lot of people to keep track of. So make sure all your keepers are set there as well. So speaking of Dynasty, let's go ahead and switch over to Vlad Jr.'s crew there. He definitely had a pretty good season last year. I believe he went 9-4. He went 9-4 last year, and before that, he went 8-5. So he's definitely a consistent owner. He definitely is doing pretty good there. So I mean, that's a .654 win percentage. That's definitely towards the top of the league for his win percentage. There, he did have a divisional title last year as well. Looking at his keepers, he does have Russell Wilson, which is a good quarterback. I think he's definitely going to stay in Seattle. He's definitely not going to look for a trade, or he's not going to get a trade. Let's be honest. And I think that keeps his value there. He has DK Metcalf throwing too, and Chris Carson hand the ball off, which keeps defenses honest. I think his biggest weakness out of all his positional players are his running back room. He has David Johnson. I don't even think David Johnson's honestly the third running back in that room anymore. I think, Philip Lindsay is definitely the RB1 there. I think, Rex Burkhead might actually be better than David Johnson at this point. And Mark Ingram's also there, who I think is the RB2. Rex Burkhead might be the RB3, and David Johnson just might get cut. So I think it's Kenyon Drake, Ronald Jones, James White, and Armstead, who just got released, I believe, this week or last week. So I mean, that's definitely an issue there. Looking at his wide receivers are pretty good. He does, Michael Thomas. He has Cooper Kupp, Ruggs, which are a good 1-2-3 punch, and then he has Aguilar, which last year was pretty good for him. And then he does have Harry there as well as his wide receiver 6, which is not too bad. Looking at his tight ends, I believe his tight ends are pretty damn good. I mean, he has Waller and Hawkinson, which are pretty good tight ends. I would love to have them on my team. I believe last year they went like 2 and 3 tight end or something crazy like that. So it's definitely tight ends are pretty good. They're definitely in my top 5 of tight ends to look at draft. So he's definitely have that there. And he has Burton, who's a free agent. Doesn't really do much for him there. Then his DL is pretty good as well. I mean, right there he has Chase Young, Montez Sweat. I mean, you can't go wrong with those two. Devin White and Bush. You can't go wrong there for your linebacker core. I mean, Jalen Mills is probably his CB3, CB4, and that is not too shabby as well. I mean, his definitely his keepers are pretty good, and we can kind of see why he did pretty well last year. Went 9-4. His team's pretty decent. I mean, he's getting points in all positions. I believe if he can shore up that running backing room, he would definitely have a shot at the title. Let's take a look at his picks. He doesn't have a first round pick. He drafts his first pick is a 29th pick, which will hurt him. I mean, to get any competent running back, it's definitely gonna be somebody who can come in and hopes somebody gets injured. Honestly, there, he has 2 picks in the 8th round. He has picking all the other. He has picking in all the other rounds as well. I think he's definitely has a shot to, if he makes a couple trades in season, definitely has a couple IDPs he can move for, maybe some running back depth or, a quarterback. He does need a second quarterback. I mean, he does have the picks to maybe pick up a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round. I think a few are definitely going to drop there. I think he'll be fine as well. And I think he has a shot to be pretty good again, win a division again as well. Well, everybody, that was a very quick press conference, and I'd like to speak to you everybody soon next week on July 11th when the commission returns with us. Have a good one. Bye.